Hi everyone, so this is a random ghosty update because I've been asked this question a few times and I just thought I would address it and quickly sort of tell you how I deal with it. And yeah, I'd be interested to know if any of you have similar situations and how you would deal with it, whether you would do what I have or whether you think what I've done is absolutely stupid and terrible and the worst idea possible. So what I'm going to talk about is the fact that I have been quite vocal about the hauntings that occur. I'm not going to say too much because I'm sat with it in my house and I don't really like to talk about things that have happened. So I'm not going to say anything that's happened. If you want to see for the things that have happened, I have a whole paranormal playlist which details a lot of the occurrences. But as I've said, I'm not going to talk about it in my house because it sets things off. So I'm just going to talk vaguely about my daughter. So I've been asked before, because I have children, and I've been asked if things occur around my children. Now, I will say not very often, but there have been occasions where things have happened. And people have asked me how you deal with that. Hi. Hello. Just ignore me and eat whatever's been spilled on the sofa. Very nice. My toddler was crawling on there. Chances are there's some sort of contraband. So my 6-year-old daughter, she's the one that really is the one that's needing to be discussed, really, because the toddler, he's too young to really notice anything, really, if that makes sense. But my daughter, she definitely notices, and we moved into this house when she was a baby less than a year old, and obviously she didn't notice things at first. She was too little to really grasp what was happening, but there have been occasions where things have flown through the air in front of her. Again, I won't get too into it because I don't want to risk setting things off, but there have been things I've moved in front of her. And I've been asked how I deal with that. And I'm also putting this out there because if any of you are suffering anything similar, I feel sorry for you, I really do, because I know how awful it is. And if you have any children and you're wondering how to deal with it, this has worked really well for me. My daughter's 6, she's noticed things. But she still goes to bed in the dark quite happily, turns off her light to go to sleep, and lies there in the dark quite happily in this house, and is rather blasé about the occurrences and isn't frightened at all. And the way that I've managed to do that is through a couple of ways. One, we talk about fairies a lot in this house, and so for the time being she really believes very heavily in fairies, and she loves the idea of fairies and all that sort of thing, and so occasionally when things that are very easy to explain, such as the time that we were baking a cake and the cake decorations flew through the air, she instantly jumped straight to the conclusion that it was fairies. And so I went along with it and agreed, yeah, it's fairies. Oh, look what the fairies are doing. The fairies want the cake. Things like that. And because of a strong belief in fairies and because of a strong belief in magic, when little things like that happen, lights turning on, doors opening, things like that, she thinks it's fairies and she's entranced by it. She's quite happy to see it. Whereas a lot of the darker things she doesn't really see. That tends to happen quite late at night, the darker things. There have been 1 or 2 occasions that she's been present for the darker things. One of them, I don't think she remembers, so I think that's all right. I think we can sort of safely move on from that. But she has seen things. Now, I haven't. Well, I have, actually. Recently I did see something. That'll make another video. Did you hear that bang? I don't know if the camera picked it up, but there was a bang in the other room. Right, I'm going to wrap it up because I don't want things to start happening. I'm alone in the house and I'm freaking out now. Yeah, so she has seen things and yeah, I'm freaked out now. She has seen things and I did see something myself that I will tell you about in another video when I'm not in the house, because I'm not going to mess around, because I don't know if the camera picked up that bang, but there was a bang. Yeah, sorry, so she has seen things, and the only way that the way that that's sort of come about is that I've told her either that sometimes if you're dreaming you can wake up and still be dreaming, So I went through a big long sort of discussion about that, how you can sort of still be how you can sort of dream while you're awake, and try to sort of explain that she must have been so tired and that she wasn't sleeping very well, and so she that happened. But then there are other times that she has seen something and it's very unexplainable, because she was wide awake. And yeah, so the only other thing that I've done, the only other thing that I've sort of allowed, the only other way that I've been able to deal with it is to discuss the afterlife and ghosts and things with her in a way that was non-threatening. Sort of explain that people are the problem. People who are alive, sort of kidnappers and things, whatever. People are problems. You need to be scared of people. And I've said that ghosts and things exist, and they do, even though prior to this, and still sometimes I'm not sure if I do believe in ghosts, which is bizarre, I know, but sometimes prior to all of this especially, I didn't believe in it. But I've just told her that ghosts do exist, that your spirit, when you die, does its own thing. And I sort of went through a little thing like that to try and make it very comforting for her. And we've lost a couple of pets recently, so it tied in perfectly with helping her move on and sort of feel like the pets aren't gone forever, and you know, that sort of thing, as you do with children. But I can remember when I was a kid, my parents would just tell me ghosts aren't real, there's no such thing as ghosts, there's absolutely no chance, don't be so silly. Whereas with my daughter, I've said, oh, you know, yeah, they might well exist. I can't say for definite, but if you see one, that's fine, and there's no need to be scared of it or anything. You just let them go on their way, because they're not interested in you, you're not interested in them. It's like a spider. It just sort of comes through the house, does whatever. If you see one, you just ignore it, or you come speak to me and we'll have a look, or we can turn the light on or whatever. But it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's normal. And I've tried to do that, which might not be the most healthy thing, but living in a house where weird things happen, it tends to really work. And when she's seen something, she tells me, oh, I'm sure I saw a ghost that day. And I won't say what she saw, because again, I don't want to, you know, antagonize the situation, but she's seen something a couple of times. She's seen it. I haven't seen what she's seen, but she's seen something, right from being about sort of able to vocalize it up until now. And she just seems blasé about it, that, oh, you know, it might have been a ghost, I might have seen this, and I just say, oh, you know, it might well have been. Well, that's fine, and this house is over 200 years old, so, you know, other people who've loved it, when we're ghosts, we might wander around through this house because we've loved it too. And that is how I deal with my daughter, and I'll do the same with my son, but hopefully by the time my son can see something, we're going to be out of this house and gone far, far away, and never shall I return. So I'm going to go now and go check out what's banging, and yeah, so if any of you are going through similar to what I have been doing, I feel for you, I really do, and I hope that this little video can help you if you're dealing with children, because I think the more that you try and say that nothing is happening, it sort of diminishes their experience and makes them feel a bit weird. I just think honesty is the best thing, without being too honest, without saying, oh my god, oh, it's haunted, we're all going to die. Because, you know, that would be terrible parenting. So, yeah, just let me know if you've been through anything similar, or if you've got any sort of plans or ideas of how I can continue going forward until I can sell and move. And, yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.